Hello and welcome back to the Quantum Health Connection podcast. Thank you so much for being here. I'm your host, Vanessa Bolden, with my incredible co-host, Heather Crimson. And today we have a special guest, repeat guest. We have Heathar Shepard with us. Check out episode 27. That was our previous episode we did with Heather. But Heather is a homeopath. She's a quantum health expert, a chef, a homesteader, a healer, a practitioner, a mentor, and a trainer. Heather and we have learned so much about quantum health and also homeopathy from Heather. We went through her training, and we're so excited to have you here today, Heather.
Aw, thanks for having me back.
Yeah, welcome. One thing I just want to say right off the bat is Heather is a connoisseur of the most exquisite, high quality food, which is one of the things I resonate with you about, Heather, that I just is like every time I see your cooking, your food pictures, the dinners you have, just all the things, I really secretly have so much like longing and wishing I were there eating and watching you barbecue. It's just amazing.
Aw, thank you.
Yeah, well, we did get to experience the farm, and your
Yeah.
food was
Oh,
Have
amazing.
it's
enough.
next level now, though, guys. It's like it's in a whole new place now.
Yeah.
What
So,
is it? Tell us. What's the place?
oh gosh. Well, first of all, I have a real, some people are addicted to buying clothes, and some people like whatever. They like to, not that it's a bad thing. Some people like to buy clothes, some people like to buy furniture, whatever. I like to buy like regenerative steaks and A2 cows and sheep herds. And like I have this thing where literally I could spend my last like money on like a cow that's going to give me butter, and that's like my thing. So anyway, yeah, my wife and I have a farm in northern New Mexico, and we're in the middle of upgrading. There's some things that I can't yet say for sure, but we're kind of in this like in between phase. So I think we're going to be upgrading the farm very soon and moving to a bigger farm with more pasture so we can get more animals, um, and very likely going to have a farm store to go along with that. So
Oh,
That
I'm
sounds
so glad.
incredible, Heather.
yeah,
That's such
yeah,
exciting
yeah,
news.
yeah,
Yeah,
like a brick and mortar, so
because
um
I know you're selling to the community, right? Right, you're doing that already.
yeah, we're selling to the community right now, and it would be great to have like a location, that people can come and get our stuff from. So anyway.
Wow. Now I'm really excited because I can actually drive there in a day to see you.
Oh, look at
Yes, you
you.
can. And the location may be really cool. I'm not sure about it yet. I'll know if you give me like 1 week. I'll let you know because the location could be very appealing to anybody who is into natural mineral spring therapy.
Oh,
Stop
awesome.
it. Did you find land on a hot springs that has hot
Uh,
springs?
well, we're not going to go there yet.
Well, to
That's
be
literally like my
continued.
dream.
Not sure yet, but it's possible. I'm just putting it out there, and I know it'll move forward if it's supposed to, and if not, then we'll find a better place. But it could be really cool. So you could come get this stuff and like have this other like, there could be some dual benefits.
Some
Oh,
other healing benefits
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Very cool. That sounds really, really amazing. Well, tell the audience, like, how did you get to being a farmer? Like, I mean, not everybody is like into that. Like, how did that even come to be?
You guys, I wasn't even planning on it, honestly. It wasn't even a thing. I wasn't, my wife and I weren't like, oh, let's start a farm. We were like, oh, let's get some chickens, right? But you know how some people had like COVID buys? They like went and bought like a home, or they bought like COVID purchases. Like this was our COVID buy. We went and bought a rural house, and now nobody wants to live rurally. They want to go back to the city. And it was like their COVID buy. Well, the farm was kind of like our COVID buy because we just started stockpiling animals in a sense, because I'm like, well, I want a source of butter. I want a source of raw milk. I want like a good food source, because what if they take our food away? And what if?
Mhm.
And so then it turned into this whole thing. And then I was like, oh my God, I love cows. Like I wasn't like, I never had like these big aspirations like, oh, we're gonna have a cow, a dairy herd. Like, and literally when we got our first cow, the cow, like this guy went and picked up the cow for us. We were like so thankful for him because we just posted an ad, and the guy's like, hey, sounds like you girls need some help. I'm gonna go pick the cow up for you. And we're like, oh my God, really? We're in New Mexico. The cow was in Oklahoma.
Oh,
Yeah. So he goes and he gets the cow and he brings her back, and he like pulls the trailer into our barnyard and like opens it up, and here's this fucking massive 1,200-pound beast, walking off the thing, and I was like, oh my God, I'm literally kind of like terrified of this thing right now. And so like Rose, the cow, is like walking off of this thing, and the guy's like, all right, now ladies, you got a rope for her? We're like, no. We don't have a rope for her. Okay. You got a stanchion? Because you have to put the cow in a stanchion to like milk it. So it has this place to go and it knows its place to be milked. And it gets its routine. We're like, no. Well, all right. Have you ever milked a cow? No, sure haven't. He's like, all righty.
So you kind of just were very unprepared. You just kind of went for it. And look, it still turned out great.
Honestly, it's one of those things that we went in knowing absolutely nothing. And it turned out to be one of the like most unique and rewarding experiences thus far of, so.
maybe that's the best way to go. I think sometimes the more we read about it, like I thought for about, I don't know, 6 hours that I was going to have chickens. And then I read about all the things that can go wrong with them. And it sounded really gnarly. And I'm like, I'm fine.
Well, I mean, I get that. I would encourage you to get chickens, to be honest, because, animals die. That's the thing, it just is a part of life and nature's cycle. But the reward, it's like chickens are like literally you throw them some stuff and they're like so good.
And then you get eggs for life. My brother just got some chickens, little tiny chicks, and my dog broke the chick's leg. I was literally like broke. I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do? What homeopathic remedy am I going to give the chick? Because I was thinking, I felt so terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, he'll have eggs for us, which will be cool. So
Yeah, it's farm life is real. It's not like
yeah.
we see Instagram stuff of like people gathering eggs and like petting a horse, but it's like sometimes animals do die or they need care or they get sick so.
And you had firsthand experience with that,
Oh yeah, we have a lot of experience with that. We had our first calf died and didn't make it. We had chickens die. We've had pigs, and we harvest them at the end of the season at the end, and then we eat that meat. So it's been like this whole other experience that I think especially like millennials and maybe other, I don't know, Heather, you can tell us, but I think we grew up with pets. Most people didn't grow up like old school with like farm animals that you slaughter and eat. And so now we have this programming that it's bad to kill animals, or it's not humane, and it's like you can do these things in a really humane way. And it's still emotional. Every time we harvest our pigs, it's like, my wife cries the entire day that we harvest our pigs, because we don't have 50, we have like 2 or 4, and we like pet them and name them. And that's, it's because of how we grew up. So, it's a whole
Amazing. It's so beautiful and powerful and in liberating and empowering, because this is how people always used to do it. Either nomadic or then they domesticated or whatever. And you have a direct connection to them, through your heart, but also they nourish you. And so there's so much of a disconnect to where I've seen it that young kids nowadays are so disconnected. They don't even know what they don't even know what the vegetables are.
God, they don't even know what a hamburger is. They don't know they don't know what the food is. They don't even know what it is.
And then a rutabaga, forget it. Parsnip, forget it, because those are things that people used to eat because they actually would grow, right? Yeah. You're not all eating fluffy butterhead lettuce. I mean, you got to eat the hearty things. So that's what I love about your tenacity and your strength and your courage and just going for it, and you and Jen, because here you're creating this beautiful life, right? That's super connected to the earth, that nourishes you, but also gives you so many other, I mean, I don't know if benefits is the right word, but it gives you wonderful things to help you to survive and thrive.
Yeah, it's true. And again, I grew up on a farm. Jen grew up like on pavement in Phoenix. And so she didn't literally know that things grew out of the ground, because nothing grows in Phoenix except for maybe saguaros, in places. But so as soon as she graduated college, she went to Hawaii and worked on a farm and lived on a farm. And she was like, oh my God, like, what is this? And And so, you know, but I think most people don't have that experience. Like we don't have this knowledge. It's like how many effing YouTubes I've watched over the past 3 years of how to grow this thing and grow that thing and work with this. It's like a whole other learning thing because we've been thrown into an education system that doesn't teach us about these things. It just teaches us nonsense, you know, for the most part. And
Oh, but not life skills, right? Those are life skills
yeah,
that
we
you
don't
need
get
to
these life
live and
skills.
thrive, right? We were learning more about memorizing things as opposed to
Yeah,
life skills that can really teach us how to care for yourself. Like, God forbid there was no
yeah.
food stores around. Well, what are you gonna do, right?
So what
Like,
do you do, right? And yeah, so and I think more of our food production is, and this isn't to be scary, it's just to bring awareness, is like it's very much controlled and in a very artificial environment, like lettuces and vegetables are grown under grow lights or like inside under just artificial light in sterile environments. There's no sun, there's no like bacteria in the dirt, there's no fungi in the dirt, and it's like, how is this going to affect people when they start eating, relying on these types of foods? It
Well, it's like humans are the same way. You know, to be honest, not a lot of grows here in the desert where I'm at. So that is a problem. I don't know what, you know, what were the people who are living here way long time ago were actually eating probably mostly small animals and just very
yeah,
little plant matter. But
yeah,
there's a local nonprofit. They do good work. I mean, they're helping homeless people, but they have vegetables at the farmers market that they all grow indoors hydroponically. And they're all very soft and they're,
yeah,
I mean, it's a great lettuce, but it
yeah.
makes me think of soft and delicate, and that's how people are becoming soft and pale, you know.
Yeah. Oh, it's true. I think no, that I think that's true. And the lack of minerals that's going to be in that type of, like, I get it. It's like it's an interesting you know, way to grow food. I know you're thinking outside of the box, but it's going to have consequences, you know.
Mm.
And so I'm sure like in the desert, because I live in the desert too, the growing season's short, and but we have like there's certain animals that thrive on very little, like goats and certain sheep that, and they can provide meat and milk and all of these things. And I think, yeah, depending on your environment, it's like so much to think about there.
There
Yeah.
really is. Well, what would you say to people like, so you're doing the whole thing. You got the whole homestead, you got the farmer, you're doing all the things. Some people are not going to go to that extreme,
Oh
right? But
yeah,
like,
totally.
where do people begin and where do people start with this kind of like living where they can connect more to local foods and to, their environment and what they're eating and
Yeah.
eating more, getting more nutrient dense, more minerals, because there's a very big difference from what you're getting at the food store than what you get from your farmer. So, share
Yeah.
a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you don't want to grow your own stuff, like fine that, you know, but find somebody who is in your area, like go to the farmer's market and that sort of thing. But also it can be really helpful, like the hydroponics thing. I wouldn't support that. I wouldn't buy from hydroponics people unless it's like that's your literally your only choice for until you find another resource. You know, look for farmers. There's farmers everywhere, whether you live in like Phoenix or you live in the middle of a rural place or you live in upstate New York and it's like super green. It's like there's farmers literally everywhere. And also a lot of people ship. There's a lot of regenerative farmers, raw milk, raw dairy, all these things. A lot of farms now ship their product. And if you can afford to do that, I highly recommend it. You know what we don't get here, I will buy from online from a farmer who's doing a good job to support them, but also to make sure I'm also getting good nutrients for my family. So
How do people know that the farmer is doing a good job?
yeah, it's like it's a good question, and it actually this is the thing is we've been used to people doing things for us, like our medical care and our food, and like you go to a restaurant and here's your order, and it's like
Yeah.
so we have to kind of relearn, like, wait, but how was this, what actually is in this, and how actually was this raised, and was this animal like jabbed its entire life? You know what I'm saying? Or was it fed antibiotics? And sometimes you like, I'll straight up ask the farmer, and I could have to go on their honesty and what they share. It's like, if I see pictures of their farm, does it look like, oh, that looks like a healthy, thriving farm, or does that look like a total shithole? It's like, and so, but all it does is it takes a little bit of effort and research. Literally, an email, looking at pictures, talking with somebody if you're interested in a farm, and if like, how are they? Are they like open and sharing with you, or are they like kind of short and shut down and like, so it's just kind of going off of this. Sorry.
No, you're good.
So, yeah, I would just do a little bit of research on, do you give antibiotics to your animals? Do you grow is this grown outside, or, and sometimes, you don't want to try not to offend the person, because then they'll get like defensive. So say like, hey, did you guys, do you have a hydroponic system, or did you guys grow this in the ground? Like, be curious, and like you're not going to be judgmental of them. You literally just want to know for your own well-being. So I would like ask these kind of questions.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people will just say, like, I can just go get organic at the food store. I can just go and get, grass fed at the food store.
Yeah.
I've had this from clients before, say that to me as well. And I'm like, well, that's actually not the same. So, and unfortunately,
It's not the same, because here's the thing, and I just wrote about this on the Eat Heal Farm Substack that I run. It's like, we just ran out of garlic for our last year's harvest, and I was like, what the, okay, I got to go to the store and buy garlic, whatever. I'm not going to be a snob here. I'm going to go buy garlic. So I get to the store and I'm like, looking for the garlic. The garlic bin's empty, and I know the guy who works in the produce section. I'm like, hey, Clark, what's up with the garlic? And Clark was like, oh my God, Heather, I'm having such a problem with garlic. Nobody can get garlic. The biggest exporter of organic garlic is from China. Okay. So you go to the store and you buy organic garlic and you think it's organic, and it's most likely over 85% of the organic garlic in the store is from China. And so their standards of organic, it's like, oh, that stuff is likely not organic. It's likely have chlorine on it to dye it, to make it look white, and so it's like all these things we don't know. What I would highly recommend is not buying anything from other countries. I think there can be some exceptions with Mexico organic, but other countries getting meat, getting like produce, their standards are totally different. And so what passes over there may not pass over here, but because it passes over there, we can sell it. And so like most of the meat, like grass fed now in stores, is literally from like Argentina or other New Zealand. And the standards are, and now all the local people, they don't have a market anymore, because we're getting cheaper meat from overseas, and we're now selling it here. And I don't know if the whole tariff thing is going to shift that, but it's still something to be aware of. Like, hey, look on the label, of it says grass-fed meat, but where's that from? Because it actually might not really be grass-fed. Like,
absolutely. Plus, I don't think the Quality Assurance International certifying body has the same integrity as some of the national ones. And I think I read somewhere recently that those standards don't even, like, they just disappear once you're importing stuff. It only applies domestically, and then they can't monitor stuff that's happening outside. So you have no idea if that actually is a food that has been grown or raised with any kind of standards, to be honest.
Right.
So I steer clear of all that stuff. Mexico, you're right. I think that is a little more safeguarded, or can be relied upon a little more. So I'm not as worried about it. But this just raises so many different concerns, from our individual health to, I mean, food security, all the different layers of how it affects us. And then also just the energetic quality, because that's something I'm interested in, of how, like, the food being shipped and who grew it and what, just the whole thing. And I don't want to be neurotic or make it overwhelming, but the more local, the better. The more that you can have firsthand experience and witnessing, and a relationship, hopefully, with the people who grow your food is so, so important.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can visit a farm, how do they treat their cows? I mean, we're over the top. We like very much spoil our cow. We give them like orange slices and
music.
But that's how it should be. Like, they should be like well loved and well taken care of and well nurtured. You can't tell me there's not a quantum effect to that in your body when you eat
100%.
that. Where as opposed to like an animal that's treated like crap. When an animal is nourished
Yeah.
and loved and cared for, their body is going to have more nutrient dense food and just more, just they're going to be overall thriving because they feel the love and the connection. And that is going to actually impact, and then like Heather said too, like how long has that, been taken a ship and get here, like meat from New Zealand, and I live in New York. Does that make sense? Like, or just even produce. The local really does make a difference, and
Yeah. It's
connecting
like,
with them.
think about the stress hormones that if you were to live in a alcoholic or an abusive environment versus an environment that was like nourishing and caring and loving. And it's like the animals are going to have more stress hormones naturally in their system if they're living in an unnatural or stressful environment. So it's like, I would, if you can, and if a farmer's like, no, you can't come see the farm, I was like, well, why? Like, if they're selling product, you should be able to go see their farm because that's fishy.
Absolutely. Have you
Yeah,
guys seen the
100%.
Plumes? There's this guy a French dude named Plumes Official, I think is the name of his Instagram, and he goes into all these different farms or different places where animals are held, like maybe a zoo, I don't know, pandas but mostly horses and donkeys and things like that. And cows, he'll go and play his pink guitar and sing songs, and they all just come and they're like nuzzling him and they want to be right there, the music. And so I don't want to, that's like, I'm not going to go to the PETA thing. It's not about that. It's about that these are actually beings
Yeah.
and they have, right, they have needs but when you put them in a factory without sunlight and dirt and whatever, it's just disgusting. Like
Yeah.
in China, they have these huge high rises I saw the other day with pigs in them, and it's like 100 stories high. And then they found a way,
Oh,
yeah, streamline all this stuff. Like, do you want to eat pork from a pig that's
wow.
been raised in a high rise? No,
Dude, I
I
didn't even know
wanted
that
to.
was a thing.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
All right,
terrible.
I don't remember if it was in Singapore, but some really super urban area. But or do you want to have pork from a pig that was on grass and somebody serenading it? Yeah, I'll take that.
Oh, 100%. And I'll pay more for that. And people bitch
Yes.
about the price of food. But I'm telling you, try
Yeah.
raising it yourself and then bitch about it.
I can't even imagine. Like, you probably don't even really make much. Like, I feel like farmers
Oh,
sometimes make much of a profit. Like, because, like the farm I buy from just had to raise their prices on a couple of things. And you know what? It's like, am I going to bitch about it, or am I just going to be so grateful that they actually do a damn good job taking care of the
yeah,
animals, and they invite you to the farm? They want you to come tour their farm. They're very open and willing and sharing all their information about how they treat their animals. And that's why I've been going to them for so many years now. And
yeah,
it's different. You can see that, you can look at the meat, like the ribeye I had the other day, looking at from the farm, and then my mom had a ribeye that was like from like BJ's, and you can literally see the difference. Like, it's not even like the comparison and the marbling of the meat and the way the fat is and the way it's
yeah,
not even the same. Like, it's just not.
yeah,
So
yeah.
just one aspect, but yeah.
I totally.
Heather,
It's
I want to know, like, how has your personal health and then your spiritual self evolved and changed since you've been having hands on the dirt, hands on the animals,
yeah.
right? And then living this really rich life. Like, how have you changed?
Well, now you're making my pulsatilla come out.
Yes.
Um, yeah, a lot of unexpected ways. So for a long time, I've had really bad anxiety and panic attacks, and they especially would be heightened if I'd get into like really crowded situations or like really congested situations, or driving on a big highway, and I would have like I'm like, babe, can you drive? Like, I'm literally gonna have a panic attack. And so like from when we moved out here on our farm, it was like, wait a minute, I'm not like feeling that, and I feel so much more regulated, and feel so much more in my body, and I feel so much more grounded, and I'm not like disassociating it as much as like when I was living in this other environment. And my nervous system has been so healing, and like also to understand these social relationships with all the different animals on the property. Like, I go out in the morning and I open the chicken door and I'm like, hey Dino, hey Cher, hey Musical, hey, like, it's like, and it's like it's just a different experience, and it's like, it's very rewarding. It's very enriching. It's definitely it's an unconventional way to live for sure, but um oh my God, so grounding, so regulating. I can
Mhm.
see why like equine therapy and all this stuff is so healing for people, because literally when you take your, I don't think we were meant to live in that sort of environment. Like New York City for me would be like a total panic experience. I mean, I couldn't do it. And for many years I fought with that. I was like, "Oh, I should be able to do that. That should be fine. Like, what's the big deal? All these other people can do it." And so, but the farm has helped me really accept that actually it's okay that that's not my wheelhouse, and that
Mm.
this is. And so it's been like super healing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks for
Beautiful.
asking.
That's a great question.
Thank
And yeah,
you.
that deep connection that you have, and that's really been supportive to your healing. I can't imagine how it couldn't be supportive to like be in connection with nature and animals and yeah, in the dirt and the soil and all that. Like it sounds super amazing.
Yeah, I mean, but some people, we live like an hour away from a big town. And that would scare the crap out of some people, they'd be like, wait, what if something happens? What if this? What if that? So you have to work with that element too, because we've been trained to be like, oh, let me Postmate, or if I need something, I can just like go to urgent care that's like 2 minutes away, or like, so you have to know, like I almost chopped my hand off like a couple years ago. Okay, well, how do I work with this? How do I stop the bleeding until I can get there? My animal goes down, how can I work with that until like the vet can come who lives 2 hours away? So you have to be like self-sustainable in a different way than an urban environment requires, just because there's different resources. So
Wow.
you know
But this speaks to the other aspect that you've just highlighted, Heather, is that there's ways, I mean, profound ways that living like you are, which is so much more holistic and in touch with, how we need to sustain ourselves, that is super challenging
yeah,
because it just inherently is. But there's also rewards in that. I mean, you learn how to trust yourself. You learn
yeah,
how to be self-sufficient, you figure it out, you become resourceful, you network with people around you who may have
yeah,
skills and or resources that you don't have. That
right,
is really powerful.
yeah.
You're not outsourcing all the time. Like it's so easy to do when you're in more of a urban slash town environment, right?
It's like you're thrown in the fire and you have to figure it out. Like you're like, I have to, like, I'm gonna have to do something, like I have to figure this out. And then you will, like you will learn and grow from those experiences, right? I mean, you have other skills as a homeopath too, to like know what to do in situations as well, right? That are supportive. So
Yeah.
that's another huge component of what you do as well. So like you're like, oh, I cut my hand, I know what to do homeopathically, right? You are more self-reliant, not only in your food sourcing and raising animals, but you're also in your medical care as well, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's true. Medical care, and there's a whole bunch of things we do that's just really different than the norm, like heating your home with wood. Well, you got to know how to chop wood. You have to know how to cut down a tree. You have to like no, no one's coming to save you, as my wife says. It's like we're it. But I mean, we have great neighbors, and that's the thing. It's like if something happens, also it's like it puts you like directly in community, because you literally, like one time our cow was sick, and I called our neighbor and I was like, hey, my cow isn't letting down her milk and the calf really needs to eat and I don't know what to do. And there's a few other dairy farmers here. And she was like, Heather, go to the fire hall. All the men are there, they're men, whatever. Okay, there's no women doing this, but we are. And they're like, go there and tell them to come over and help you. And I literally drove to the fire hall. I was like, guys, this is the deal. And literally they're like, okay, boys, let's go help these girls out. And they literally just stopped their meeting and got in their truck and drove over to our farm and helped us out. And it was like, it was
So
so,
how did what was it about the firemen that they knew how to do this?
well, you see, the people who are the firemen are also the dairy farmers here. It's like
Oh,
not like it's
okay.
just like a total community thing. So
Nice.
it's not like anything high tech here, which it probably should be for where we live, but all the farmers are also the fire people. So I went over there and it was like,
Mm.
wow. And you know, and they're, you know, we got two queer women here. These are all like older Hispanic guys, and they were so accepting and so like generous and helpful. I think because their kids aren't farming and they're really sad about it. And they're like, you know, once I die, my ranch is gone. That's it. You know, the cows, that's it. And it's like, so on another level, they really get that there's, I'm saying younger, but I'm not like, I'm middle young.
You're still young.
No, people doing this, and I think that's really respected in some rural places for sure. But
Because they get it. I
get
mean,
it.
it's in their, you know, it's in their heart, their history, their
Yeah.
ancestry, and that's a dying art or dying practice. So they're going to make sure that you have what you need
Yeah.
because it matters to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really important though that that is true. Like there are less farmers than there used to be, and it is a dying practice, and it is
Massive
a problem. And that's another thing too. Like why another reason why I like to support local farmers is because I don't want that to die out because I want nourishing food to be available for my children and my grandchildren, right? So we need to like also support you
Yes.
and other people who are doing these practices, these ethical good practices in farming. We really, you know, you have to, the consumer is going to drive that.
That's
Not
right.
like nothing else is going to change that but us as consumers. So
Yeah.
if we want better quality food, we have to go find it, start buying from it, and then stop buying from places that are not giving us good quality foods like your regular crappy food stores, right? So, and it doesn't mean that you have to be rigid or dogmatic and it's like a never, like you
Yeah.
said, you're going to go get the garlic because you needed garlic or whatever. Like we're going to just, but as much as you can source from these good regenerative farmers that are actually doing the right thing, and
Yeah.
your whole family gets the benefit, right?
Right. Yeah. So even like, don't feel bad if you don't want to farm. Like, fine. Like, you have other skills and gifts to offer the world and your community, but support the people who are doing it,
Yeah.
because that's exactly right. That's how what's going to keep it alive. And everyone's like, oh, Bill Gates is buying all the farmland. It's like there will always be people farming in a good way, in a responsible way. And so don't focus on that asshole. Focus on, you know, who's doing it right and buy from them. And, you know, it's like,
Yeah, we don't want to give our energy to the negative. We want to be aware of it. I think we do. We should be aware of it, but we should focus all of our energy, most of
yeah,
our energy into enhancing and amplifying what we do want.
yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah,
And you
Right.
know what? Like I'm not a farmer at all. Like I'm not, I don't want to be a farmer, but like I do save seeds and then
yeah.
I buy them and then I plant them in pots. And you know
That's
what?
really
It's
cool.
really simple. Like
Yeah,
all I do is have to save them, dry them, store them, and
yeah.
replant them. I've got stuff, tons of pots growing.
Pretty sure that makes you a farmer in a way,
It
Vanessa.
Well,
does. I
I
know.
mean, I
Secretly,
was pretty impressed that I grew watermelons and cantaloupes last year. Like I was
that's
like, whoa. I mean, they don't taste anything like the ones at the food store that are like overly
oh,
sweet,
that's
but they're not as sweet. So we have to understand there is a difference in the way things are going to taste, right? Because it's more, they weren't as sweet, which is interesting. Anyway, but I was pretty impressed about that.
You know, I would highly recommend, and again, you don't have to be like over the top about this, but I would save seeds because, you know, all of the seedless things now for
Yes,
people
yes.
are in place for people not to grow and be like self-sufficient.
I didn't
Yep.
even make that connection.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
My kids will complain about the watermelons that have the seeds in it because
Course.
they're like, oh, it's annoying.
Yeah,
I'm like,
of
but don't
course.
you realize that every one of these seeds is a baby watermelon that you could grow?
Yeah.
Like try to like, I'm trying to like reframe their thinking, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm eating the watermelon, I'm spitting the seed out, and they're like, "You're gonna plant that?" I'm like, "Yeah." Now it has my DNA on it. It's that's gonna be helpful probably for you too.
Did you guys see that? People are posting about if you have the seed in your mouth. Now I know this sounds awfully woo, but then the plant will actually tailor its micronutrients profile to your exact needs. I'm like, what? That's crazy sounding. Probably does though.
Actually think that could be interesting.
Or
Yeah.
Probably some innate intelligence there that we don't know about.
Yeah, that's interesting. Now that's some homeopathic shit right there.
Yeah, it really is. My mom sent me that reel, Heather, and she was like,
Oh
she's like,
yeah,
she
that's
told
right. I
me,
got it from you.
she told me, she's like, I want you to put all your seeds in your mouth before you plant them. Like, I totally forgot, but I mean, that would have been cool.
That's good. I like
So, Heather, what are your projects? I know you were flirting with a cookbook. You're
yeah.
Mm.
about how to get more exposure to your native cuisine. Like, what are your projects right now? Not that you don't already have your plate full with the day-to-day activities.
I'm in a midlife crisis, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in like things aren't clear yet, and it's obvious that there's a big shift. Like it's kind of like you see the tsunami coming, but it's not quite there yet, and you're like, whoa, what's in that? So I'm not actually quite sure. Um, so I don't know actually how to answer that question, but I think I think in the what's really going to happen is something with the farm is going to expand and change, and possibly a storefront and more visibility to our farm. So I definitely think that's kind of in the tsunami wave, and whatever else is there, I'm not quite sure yet. But writing is something that it's a skill that never came naturally to me. I always like did horrible in English and would like ask my girlfriend to like write my papers for me and stuff, and in school because I sucked at writing. I was very like, and I still am, have a little bit of dyslexia and have trouble thinking of words sometimes. It's always been a thing. But I love writing and sharing about like food and my farm and so forth. So right now, I have two books that I'm writing, and I'm not sure which direction I'm going to be. One's a cookbook, and one is just like about my TBI healing experience.
Oh, nice.
So one of those will probably come first, but I'm not sure which one.
How exciting.
Is the cookbook still going to be like the Italian? I know, because I read your blog on your eHeal Farm, which you are a fantastic writer, by the way. I think it's very entertaining, and I love the way you weave everything in. So you do a really good job. So just so you know, but I know you were leaning on more of this Italian,
Yeah,
cookbook.
yeah, I am that. Yes, and if I go that direction, it's definitely more Italian. But if I go the TBI healing direction, then the cookbook's probably going to be more like brain food, like
I think you
initially.
should make both in
Well,
time.
I will totally, but which one
Yeah,
comes first, I'm not sure.
that sounds awesome.
Well, and I love, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I love those. I think that sounds amazing. I wanted to touch on a little bit about the difference since you are, having A2 cows and what the difference between A2 is if people don't know, and a little bit about like why raw dairy is more healthy than like because people will buy the grass-fed containers from the food store.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to watch out, you guys, because it'll be so sneaky. They'll have A2, and then it's ultra pasteurized. So don't eat any of that crap.
So true.
Those milks, like when I had changed, I just wanted to make this comment, like from years ago when I changed, because we used to buy grass fed and I thought that was good. I'm like, oh, I'm buying the grass fed milk. And then when I started learning from Heather and from other people, like, oh, that's actually not good. I'm like, it stays on the shelf life is so long. So when I like literally like months. And when I switched to, raw milk, the kids were like, this goes bad so fast. Like, I'm like, well, drink it faster. Because that's it. Like that's not normal that milk lasts that long. So just touch a little bit about like your dairy farm practices and why, that's a healthier option for people.
Okay, hang on a second.
Oh, get something.
She's bringing the product, the gold.
I don't know. She's probably going to bring over some milk.
Show us the.
I know she makes. Heather taught me how to make butter from scratch, which I do. And yeah.
Okay, I don't know if you can see this, but you see the kind of the cream separated from the milk here, the cream.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. This is well, this is from our cow, of course, but so when you pasteurize it, first of all, you kill all the living bacteria and enzymes. Okay, we all know that, and it becomes less digestible. People's like, I have a milk allergy. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I was raised on milk, and I was raised on bad milk. I was raised on like pasteurized milk. Give her skim. She's gaining weight too fast. There's all this shit that the doctors would tell my parents. So I was raised on milk, but the kind of milk that we drink when it's gone through these unnatural processes, your body can become like sensitive to that food over time. And so a lot of people have dairy allergies and dairy intolerance today. That's one reason. The other is the A2, which we'll talk about in a minute. But when you homogenize the milk, then all of this cream that is here gets swirled around and mixed into the whole thing. And you're like, oh, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is that it totally denatures the proteins and fats and nutrients, and it creates highly unstable molecules that you then drink this, and the fat is more likely to be rancid, and it causes real health issues, heart issues, arterial issues. So, um, so that, and then it's like, can literally, you can put, like, if I pasteurized and homogenized that milk, it could last like a month in the store at least. And that thing should go off in like 7 to 10 days. Now, when you like, if you have like raw milk with the cream like that on it, the fat on top extends the shelf life also. It protects everything below it.
Mm.
So if you have raw milk and you have cream on top, it will last longer also because of that cream. So, but here's the thing, most dairy farmers, they milk their cows with the machine things, but it all goes into one like huge big vat, like the conventional, even if you have a grass fed in the store. And they just pour it all in. But usually if you've ever milked a cow, okay, the cow is like, they don't care about hygiene. They're gonna sit in shit, and they're gonna sit in stuff that they shouldn't be sitting in, and their calf is going to be nursing, and they're going to take a piss, and it's going to go on them. And, it's like, it's just what happens. They're animals.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you don't take care to like clean your animal before you milk it, which if you have hundreds of thousands of cows you're milking, nobody is going to do that. So they milk it anyway. It goes into one huge vat. So they're like, let's just pour a little chlorine in here to like, offset anything,
Ugh.
and they do practices like that. That's just one example. And they're like, and it's like parts per million is like low compared to FDA and what they allow, that they don't even have to tell you they're doing that.
No.
You can drink grass fed, sure. And then
Not enough. It's not enough. You could be drinking bleach and chlorine.
I mean, and antibiotics and everything. I mean, usually not antibiotics if it's grass fed, but it's not great. It's not really great, which is also why we were never meant to have like dairy farms with thousands of cows. Everybody was supposed to have a family cow, or one, you'd share with your neighbor, this sort of thing. We weren't meant to have these huge herds. And now it's like nobody has them. So now, like, people who want milk, there's such a demand still because it's such a natural product, that now we have thousands of cows. And then people complain about methane and global warming, and it's like, well, we've totally put the cow in the wrong environment. And now, usually when there's a problem, it's like with food, or it's because humans did something to mess up nature.
100%, 100%. And why pie A2 cows? Because your cows are A2. So what is the reason for those?
So I don't have anything against not A2. Okay. It can be, some people do just fine with it. Depends on your constitution and so forth. But people who are sensitive to dairy, usually if they drink A2, which is just, it's a type of protein, it's a type of genetics in the cow. Okay, some cows are A1, A2, some cows are A1, A1, some cows are A2. Typically, people who have a strong sensitivity to dairy, they drink it, it gives them diarrhea, or they're lactose intolerant, they drink A2 dairy, and the protein structure is different, more stable, and so the immune system in the gut can digest it typically better. Goats and sheep naturally are A2.
Right.
Not all cows are, because they used to be, but it was bred out over the years. Crossbreeding, moving them across continents, all this stuff. So now if you're sensitive to dairy, it may just be because you're not getting A2.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be more easier on the digestive tract and immune system. And some people have, a lot of people can drink A2, but as soon as they drink A1, it's like they're in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Typically, the older breeds or the more heritage breeds are the A2.
Typically, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they're a little bit hard to find. So you have to do, like, that's one thing when we were buying our cow, all these things you have to think of. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really important. I mean, milk and dairy is so controversial, but it truly is a very nourishing
Yeah.
food. And many cultures use it in their cuisine, and it's just inarguably adds so much depth and quality to our food and enjoyment and nourishment. So finding good dairy is like finding gold, really.
It is.
It's such a
It's part of every culture, literally. It's literally part of every culture, whether it's in the form of ghee or milk or cheese or butter or milk. It's in every culture. And the whole myth is like, if it's not like, it's not, it's a different mammal. It's not like your milk. It's like humans should only drink breast milk. It's total BS.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? It tastes so freaking good. So
Oh my
just like, let's go with that. Like, it's nothing better than like, homemade butter and yogurt and
God.
like cheese
Yeah.
and milk. Like, it's so good. So, I mean, yeah, it's really good.
So
So,
you have your milk, sorry, Vanessa, you have your milk at the farmer's market. You sell locally right now, mostly, right?
Okay, good question. We don't actually have our milk at the farmer's market because of regulations and rules.
Oh,
The government would have to make regular trips to our farm, which we're not into that. So we label it as pet milk,
okay, good, perfect.
and we sell it like that.
Through shares and that kind of thing?
No, we honestly right now have just like word of mouth, and people buy product off of our site, and then we go and deliver it to a drop off location on Wednesdays.
Nice, good.
Oh my God, yeah, it's what we're doing it right now, but we're getting to a point where it's like so much product that we need
right.
we need a place for it.
Like,
So,
what do you do with all that milk that you
oh my
get?
God, we're milking one cow right now. Okay, because with our other cow, we only have two milking cows right now, and so Laura Jean, one we're milking right now, gives 3.5 gallons of milk a day.
Wow.
What the F are you gonna do with, like, my fridge is filled with like nothing else can fit in the fridge. It's like, so you got to think of what to do with this milk. I mean, I've made ice cream and yogurt and cheese, and it's like, you get create. It's like way more than Jen and I could ever eat. It's so.
And then you have all the whey left over. Did you say you could give the whey to the crops outside?
Absolutely, you could.
Oh, good,
Yeah,
I can do that because I never have
love
nothing to.
it. The
Yeah, yay.
grass, the plants, if you give it to house plants, dilute it by like, half, but
I don't have any house plants, but I need some.
we give it to our chickens. When we have pigs, they love it. So yeah,
Perfect.
nothing
Yeah.
goes to waste pretty much.
Nothing goes to waste at your house, I'm sure.
Doesn't. I would even like, I'm like, oh, that's going to the chickens. That's going to the cats. That's going to the dog,
Oh,
so.
it should be, right? Like, that's really how it should be. It shouldn't just be thrown in the garbage. Like, we should be putting it back into the earth, back into the soil, which was the other question I wanted to ask you about. The
Yeah.
soil being so depleted and lack of minerals and nutrients and all that. So then when we grow those foods, it's not as good. So how
Yeah.
are you, like, supporting the health of your soil, which then supports the health of our soil, like in our bodies?
It does, right. And I think like a lot of people's issues today, in part, I mean, it's always like so many things going on, right? But it's like the food we're eating is the soil's so deficient. It's like, and so it's like comes down to like basically laziness or lack of motivation, or like if you grow a tomato, like even if you grow a tomato in this raised bed or this area last year, then grow the tomato in a different place and put the onions where you had the tomatoes last year, and like, kind of switch it up. That's going to help preserve the health of the soil. Now we're kind of in a unique situation because we have so much chicken scat and cow manure that we we have so much compost, and we have heaps of it out back that we use our vegetable scraps that the chickens can't eat, and we have manure and we have chicken scat, and then we have the you know, clippings of grass and trees and stuff, that all goes in. If a chicken dies, rest in peace. It goes in our compost back into the earth, you know?
Mhm.
And so so everything goes in the compost, and that's how we make our soil for our gardens. And it's like, you know, it takes a year for that sort of stuff about to fully break down. But um if you've ever tried to buy like soil from, we have to, you know, originally we had to before we had cows, because we live in the desert, and it's like you can't grow anything out here. It's like the soil is so bad. To the cost to import like a dump truck full of soil, I was like, now that's a good business.
I bet.
Now
It's
that's a
just
good business.
dirt.
I can't even believe it's like, you know, at least a couple $1,000s for that to come and, you know, for just to have soil for a few raised beds. And then somebody wants to know why we don't sell our tomatoes for less money. It's like, you know, it's like all of these factors really play in. So,
Absolutely. It takes a lot of money,
yeah,
time, and
yeah,
effort
yeah,
to raise animals right and to raise produce right. It's not so simple. Like it takes effort and time. And
yeah,
yeah, and it's up to you putting your priorities first. I've said this to clients and other, people in my life, like, instead of going out to dinner, right? Maybe you spend more money, or like maybe you don't get your nails done or whatever. Like, and you have your choice, but it is your priority. Like you can cut corners other ways if you want to eat better quality food. There are things that you can shift to make it work if that's what you choose and that's your priority. For me and my family, that is a priority.
yeah. You know, yeah, it totally depends on what your priorities are, and also just making some time for it, because maybe you don't like, you know, you do a little bit this year and then next year you do a little bit, and eventually you'll have a sustainable system in place. It's not, these things is like totally slow, like gardens and animals and having like a functional space and so forth. That is not like something you can just look up how to do on Etsy or YouTube, do it in like 24 hours. This shit is like, it's a marathon. It's a marathon.
Yeah,
But
it's
Yeah.
like layers and layers of practices that build on each other that take time to
Just like,
ferment and unfold. So
yeah,
I want to go back to the writing for a minute. Now we're coming up at the end of our time, but also I want to promote your the solo at Ojo, because you have an ethos of writing. It's so beautiful. The energy you've created, and I know you just hosted a couple from Portugal. I mean, it's so cool. That's one of the ways that people can interact with you, is to book some time at your private retreat in order to support their own creativity. So tell us about that offering you have.
yeah. So we have the solo at Ojo, and it's its own space, its own little casita on the property, on the farm. And really it's meant for writers or creatives who just want a place in nature to like donate to their craft. And so yeah, we actually it's open so far in June and July this summer. I don't know when this is airing, the podcast, but we do have openings for June and July, because we put so much work into the space. And it's beautiful. I was like, maybe
lovely.
I should just live there. But no, no, but it's such a cool space. And anyone who cares about EMFs, it's like all like hardwired and so forth. And so no, it's a fantastic space, and we have writers who come and stay, and some writers have done residencies, and the couple from Portugal are here till for another week or so. And it's just, yeah, it's so peaceful. Um, and yeah, Jen, my wife, runs the Instagram for the solo at Ojo, and she is very Taurian. And I love beautiful things too. I love them. I have to, like, that's the whole thing with my food. Like, I need to have olive oil from Italy, and I need to have like, you know, the best of the best food and A2 milk and so forth. She needs to have beautiful spaces. she's taken that thing from a something that should have been probably lit on fire to to something that is like so beautiful and so nourishing. And yeah, it's a great space for anyone who's looking for that sort of a retreat and creative space.
It looks really, really beautiful. It looks like a really nice place to stay. Yeah. You guys did a good job.
Your other offerings?
My other offerings, well, I mean, I have eggs for sale. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be hard to buy online. You all know I'm a homeopath, so I offer homeopathic sessions. And I also have an Eat Heal Farm Substack. And
the Study Homeopathy.
Study Homeopathy Substack. And a practitioner training course, which you all have done. You both have done. It's where I train people who want to become homeopaths, how to be a homeopath who actually is like effective at prescribing and using the medicine. And have a new cohort coming up September 2025. So
highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Heather's a great teacher, and she's real, and she's honest, and she's supportive, and you can ask all your questions to her, and she's gets back with her honest opinion. And if she doesn't know something, she figures it out. Really real. She's you want to learn from somebody real. Yeah. Who's practicing the medicine in the way that it's supposed to be, with a lot of integrity. And yeah, it's good.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you. So check out Heather, you guys. It's heathershepard.com, right? HeatharShepard.
Yeah.
And you have several other websites.
Yeah, I think I've just like cutthroat those, and I'm just at Substacks now. Yeah.
You're Substack? Okay.
Just Substack, no websites. Okay.
Just heathershepard.com, Eat Heal Farm Substack, and Study Homeopathy Substack.
Okay, perfect.
And like, I'm not good at Instagram, so don't even try to follow me there. Don't waste your just go to the Substacks. That's probably
it's a good way to get in touch with Heather.
Yeah.
Well, Heather, this has been so much fun. We really love chatting with you, and we thank you so much for coming on for a sequel. And we'll have to have you back on eventually another time.
Absolutely. Thank you, Heather.
Yeah.